can hear you. My sound was down.
Oh. Lydia, there you are. Okay, are we ready?
Soon as we get Lydia over.
Okay, I got her there. She's there.
All right. I think we're ready.
Okay, so scroll up. Oh yeah, good. Okay, you got it. Just scroll up a little.
So this is.
I'm about to go in. Yeah, okay.
Okay, this is the special meeting joint board and community improvement and government affairs committee. It is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022, and it is right now 10:04 a.m. This meeting is called to order. And we do not have any participants to let them know how to ask questions, and so we'll handle that when they show up. Let's get right to it. We have quite a bit here. So we have quite a bit here, and many of these things were given to us by Judith, which is her contribution that I actually appreciate very much, because made it easier for me to know what there was out there. So thank you to her, even though she's not here. And Cindy, are you going to be able to be our note taker?
Yes.
Good. Okay. I do not have prior meeting minutes. Cindy, do we have prior meeting minutes?
I don't have any today.
Okay. Well, we'll work that out later. So the first one here is discussion, possible action, council file 220002 S16 HR 5227, Lift the Bar Act, Affordable Care Act, Federal Assistance Programs, Eligibility Standards, lawfully present immigrant access. So I'm just going to go over to this motion here. And this is one that we pushed forward. Let me just see, what is this again here? Which would align federal assistance programs with the eligibility standards of the Affordable Care Act, allowing all lawfully present immigrants to access federal programs without discriminatory bars or waiting periods. So do we have a motion on this?
I'll move. This is Cindy.
Okay, and do I have a second?
This is Lydia. I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay, it's discussion. Do we have anything to say about this?
I think
Hold
Lydia
on, I want to
seconded
look.
it.
Okay,
I want to read through it.
go for it.
You know, I find this frustrating because I have family members who can't get insurance.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I don't know. Do any of you, we have a lot of them on our agenda. Do any of you feel strongly about this particular one?
For me, this is Cindy. I don't understand where it comes in on a local level to us individually here within the community. That's not to say that some of the things we do vote on are all within, but
I would ask that we so I would ask that we table this one for now.
Okay,
Okay,
Move on to some of the others and then we can decide if we want to add this one or not. Because we're not going to have time to do all of them anyway. We already have 3 from the last meeting we have to do. So we probably are only going to have time to do 1 or 2.
okay.
okay. So we're gonna table this one. All
So
right,
we should vote to table?
yes.
Yeah, Cindy, go ahead and take, so the move, do I have a second on the motion to table? Well, I can second it, I suppose. There's only 3 of us. Okay. So, Cindy, go ahead with the vote.
Okay. Lydia,
Yes.
Lala,
Yes,
and Cindy, yes, thank you.
okay. So that one is tabled. 6, this is also one that was pushed forward earlier. Discussion possible action, council file 220392, digital off-site signs, outdoor advertising, transportation communication network program structures, Los Angeles County Metropolitan
I'll
Transport
move
Authority.
the motion. This is my item.
Okay,
I'll second it.
I'll make,
thank you.
and
And
I believe I sent you the CIS for this already.
you may have, I will have to double check for that, but yes.
Okay, so the motion is to do a memorandum, an MOA of agreement for the developer of a transportation communication network program between the city of Los Angeles and Metro Transportation Authority. The MOA has been executed, which establishes a revenue sharing framework that provides the city with 50% of net revenue from outdoor advertising on TNCN structures. The contract term is 20 years, effective the 22nd through 42, and is implemented as condition, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so basically what it's saying is all the metro advertising the city gets half of. I would support that. We already have a first and a second.
We already have a first and a second. Okay. So my only question on this is this that advertising where they were going to have the moving displays on the bus benches?
No, this is specifically for Metro. This is hold on. Oh, maybe. I mean, I guess maybe, but I was thinking it was more the trains.
Okay. Okay, so it would to prepare and present to allow digital off-site signs to be displayed on structures that are part of transportation communication network program between the city and Metro.
Oh, I mean, what do you guys think about the moving billboards?
Well, personally, I think it's a distraction to the drivers. We don't necessarily need moving billboards to distract us from our driving. On the other hand, we kind of got all kind of everything else moving. I don't know that it would actually be a problem. I don't like it. But I don't know that if they're going to do that anyway, because I know there was another motion on this subject. If they're going to do that anyway, then I don't see any problem with city getting half of the money.
Yeah, it doesn't say here that if they do it, it basically is this writing as if it's already been done. And yes, it's just approving that the city will get half the money. I agree with you. I say we go ahead and support it.
Okay. Any other comment? Okay, Cindy, go to vote, please.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm assuming that was me. Yes, I couldn't hear you.
Cindy, no. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that motion passes. Okay, number 7. discussion, possible action, council file 220102, equity analysis of violence and crime, Black women and girls, missing person cases. This is number 7. So this one is basically going over the when percentages of victims, women are higher than men, Black women are higher than any other group. And
I know that this is an issue. This has been an issue for a long time, that when children are missing or women are missing, they do not advertise as much for the Black women. I know this to be a fact. I've seen this happen, and every time you start hearing from the Black community saying, how come we have these people missing and they never made it to the news? So I would support this.
good, thank you.
I'll make that motion.
All right, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Okay, and I agree that this should be made more known, and there should be at least beginning. This is basically just that they get reports back and analyze what they're actually doing, which is kind of vital.
Can you also take public comment?
Oh, do I have a public? Oh,
Well,
I do have a public comment.
there's one.
I mean, there is a public. Okay, so caller, we're gonna take public comment on this. If you'd like to do *9, you should be able to raise your hand. If you'd like to make a comment. I don't see any raised hand. All right. So if there's no further discussion, let's go ahead and go to the vote.
Lydia,
Yes.
Lala,
Yes,
Cindy's yes. Okay, thank you.
very good. Okay, 1 second here. Excuse me. Little logistics. Okay. So that was yes. And we're on number 8. Council file 150499 S2, biodiversity protection, urban forest, tree canopy coverage, sustainable built environment, tree placement, tree removal, land use, environmental. Then it says review. Please note that the number includes S2. Okay, so that was a note from the person that sent it to me. So we shall go over here to the motion. So the city is home. Let me just. Which the city of Los Angeles lies within the California Floristic Province, which is a globally recognized as one of the 35 biodiversity hotspots on the planet, and the only hotspot in the continental United States. The city is home to a number of threatened and rare species and provides habitat for a wide range of native vegetation and wildlife. Let's just see what this is actually moving to do. That the chief legislative analyst, in partnership with the mayor's sustainability team, be directed to convene a working group of city departments, including sanitation and planning, Bureau of Street Service and Urban Forestry Division, the Department of Recreations and Parks, the Port of Los Angeles, Department of Water and Power, the Zoo, and other relevant departments to report back on their current and future strategies and matrices for protecting biodiversity in all city practices. And that LA Sanitation, with the assistance of Planning Department, the Bureau of Street Services, Urban Forestry Division, the Department of Recreation and Parks, Port of Los Angeles, the Zoo, and other relevant departments, be directed to convene a technical advisory committee comprised of local universities, NGOs, and relevant governmental agencies, including the LA County Natural History Museum, to report back with recommendations for strategies to protect and improve biodiversity in the city, and on the feasibility of implementing the city biodiversity index. I further move that the TAC should develop and implement best practice strategies for further community engagement and outreach on biodiversity, including implementation of equity-minded citizen science projects that serve full range of city neighborhoods. So that's what we're looking at. They've got to report back what the situation is. They got to have a group together that figures some things out, and they got to come up with some strategies.
So I would like to table this item. It is so confusing. It will take us hours to pitch through this and figure it out. And the fact is, it's just a lot of busy work and taking up time, in my opinion.
Okay, so we can we're tabling to the end of the meeting if we have time.
Right.
Okay. So did we have any motion on this at all? Except the table. So do I have a second on the table?
I'll second it, Cindy.
Okay, good. Do I have any public comment on this? Please raise your hand. Okay, there's no public comment that I got. Okay, so we'll put this one at the end of the line. Let me just make a note here so that I remember to go back to it. All right. Then we'll go back over here. Council file 22-0002 S81. This was sent to Rules, Elections, and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Resolution Raman Bonin relative to including the city's 2021-22 state legislative program, its position on AB 2147, Ting and Friedman, the Freedom Walk Act, which would decriminalize jaywalking when it is safe to cross the roadway. And I'll just pull that one up.
And Lala, I'd like to move to post.
Okay, then
I'm sorry. I'd like it to move to the stat committee.
Okay, I would agree. I'll make the motion that this gets forwarded to the stat committee.
Excellent, thank you. And do we have the second?
Well, Cindy and I both agreed.
You both agreed. Okay, so you're the first, she's the second, and it's going to stat. Okay, so let's vote on that.
Yeah, except
You
that
need
was
to
the
take
other way
public
around.
comment.
Cindy made the motion, I seconded it.
Okay. Well, Cindy's taking notes, so she'll do it. Okay, do I have any public comment on this motion? We're going to send it to the stat committee because it is actually their purview more than ours. This is safe traffic, Okay, good. So let's take that to the vote, Cindy.
Yes. Lydia?
Yes.
Yes.
And Cindy, yes. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so on my cursor here. So number 10 is actually a duplicate. So we'll skip that. Number 11, Council File 201524 S1 to Council Motion DeLeon Bloomfield relative to instructing the city administrative officer to execute any necessary documents to accept the homeless housing and assistance prevention HHAP round 3 funding. Okay, so let me just go look at this and see what the motion is. So here's the motion.
I'll make the motion. Basically, all it's saying is that they're gonna apply for the grant and they have to accept the money, so.
Right. Okay, so Lydia moves. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Cindy.
Okay, good. All right. Do I have any other comment on this from the board, from the committee? No? Okay, any public comment? Okay, so then we'll take this one to the vote.
Lydia,
Yes.
Lala,
Yes,
Cindy, yes. Thank you.
very good. Okay. So then that leads us to 12. 220600 S18, which was sent to the Public Safety Committee, budget recommendation dated May 18, 2022, relative to instructing the Emergency Management Department to report to the Public Safety Committee on the programming breakdown of the Innovation and Development Division and how resources are currently distributed.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Okay, good. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. This is Cindy.
All right.
That basically is just a report back to let them know how the department is breaking down all the wildfire expenditures, like how much of the is being, how is the money being distributed? How are the resources being distributed?
Right.
Okay, so I made that motion.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
I'll second it. This is Cindy.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, it sounds like they should report back anyway. So they have to get a resolution to do so. So I agree. Do I have any other comment from the committee? Any comment from the attendees, public comment? Seeing no public comment, I will take this to vote.
Lydia,
Yes.
Lala,
Yes.
Cindy, yes. Okay, thank you.
Very good. Okay, we're chunking them. Then we're almost done, guys. Just go back and get our other ones. Okay, and this is 220158 Los Angeles Municipal Code. 12.03, 12.80, and 12.81 shelters for the homeless interim housing zones. Okay, so let's go over here and see what this is. Yeah, this one you see here, there's a whole bunch of, these are where different neighborhood councils have weighed in, and we may need to look at those. Let's just figure out what this is first exactly. I'm going to read it. The Los Angeles homeless crisis requires the city to be innovative and cut red tape wherever possible. The number of people sleeping on our streets every night far exceeds the beds we are able to offer. There are churches, synagogues, mosques, temples, and other properties owned by nonprofits that are eager to be part of the solution, but are barred based on the location of their property. We need to continue to work to make it as easy as possible for these charitable organizations to build and operate homeless shelters in the city. On March 28, 2017, the Los Angeles City Council started this process by adopting ordinance number 184836 to amend section 12.03, 12.80, and 12.81 of the Los Angeles Municipal Code, LAMC, to more quickly establish temporary homeless emergency shelters during a declared shelter crisis. In particular, LAMC section 12.80 allows for temporary shelters of the homeless on city-owned and leased properties in any zone as a matter of right. LAMC section 12.81 allows for temporary shelters to be established and operated in the R3, RA, S3, it's all the different zones. If the shelter is operated by a religious institution or a nonprofit charitable organization on property the organization owns or leases. We need to go further as a matter of practicality. Many religious organizations and other charitable entities that could take advantage of this provision own and or operate properties in R3 and more restrictive zones. Amending the process would serve the city's goal to produce additional flexible interim housing solutions as part of the multi-pronged approach to addressing the housing crisis. I therefore move that the City Council instruct the Los Angeles City Planning, LACP, with assistance from other relevant departments to report back in 45 days with options to amend the sections as gone over to allow shelters for the homeless and other forms of interim housing to be established and operated on properties located outside of those zones during a declared shelter crisis. I further move that the City Council instruct LACP with assistance from other relevant departments to report back in 45 days with options to amend section 14 of the LAMC to streamline the administrative approval of shelters for the homeless as a public benefit project. The report shall consider expanding where shelters can operate as a matter of right, allowing for a broader array of innovative interim housing solutions by reducing or eliminating certain objective zoning requirements, revising existing performance standards to reflect current best practices, and explore additional strategies to facilitate the provisions of the interim housing. I further move the LA City Council instruct LACP with assistance from the city attorney to report back in 45 days with options that identify a streamlined process to allow existing and new emergency temporary shelters to extend their operation or be made permanent in order to provide greater certainty on the potential future operation under the LAMC. Okay.
No, so this is Lydia and I am against this.
Okay, so you're moving to.
So I'm gonna move. I don't know. I'll tell you, well, let's talk about it. So I make
Okay.
the motion to discuss it.
Okay, so you're moving to reject this. Okay, just you're moving for a no. And Cindy, or do I have a second? I'll second. Okay,
Sorry, I couldn't find the button. Yes, I'll second it.
okay,
Okay, so the reason I don't like this is because it basically takes the rules that they have for where shelters can be, and it opens it up for them to put them anywhere. And that anywhere may be next door to a school. It may be next door to a bar, the thing is there's already, if you look at all the zones they can already do, R3, R4, RAS3s, commercial areas, C2, C4, C5. You look at those different, all those different zoning already. That means that they could literally stick them on our hillsides.
Yeah,
And I'm against that. I think that they need to monitor where they go. I don't think that they should take a property like out in the canyon and build this homeless housing. I think if they're gonna do it, it should be done on an individual property basis, not as a blanket statement.
I tend to agree. Cindy, did you have anything you wanted to weigh in on this?
Well, it looks like
We lost you.
to identify a streamlined process. I agree that there's a potential for, with regards to the new emergency ones, a conflict in but I think since it's a report back that we should be watching this, because this could be very in our geography.
I think the first red flag is the fact that it's signed by Bonin and Nithya. Because they want to put it everywhere and anywhere. And I don't feel it should be that way. I don't. I think that and I'm going to give you an example. In Lake Balboa, they took the Airtel Plaza Hotel and they made it into a Project Room Key site. The crime in that area went up 800% for months and months and months. And basically what they're saying here is we're going to stick this everywhere, regardless of the fact that it's already zoned for these areas. We're going to open it up so it's everywhere.
So here's a suggestion. We need community involvement, engagement to do a report back. Then where do they collect their information to do their report back? So if we use this as a opportunity for people to comment directly to the council file, so that this report back can have the direct feedback from the people who are most affected and surrounding. That I throw it out to you.
Okay, well then what I'll do is I'll make a motion that this goes forward to the board with a motion to oppose this council file due to basing this only on zoning and not how these different shelters in the new zones may affect quality of life.
Okay, I wanted to briefly go over a couple of these oh, it didn't, hang on. There we
We're
go.
in the middle of a motion now.
Yeah. Okay, so do I have a second on that motion? I'll second it. So we're
I seconded it already.
Oh, you
Sorry.
seconded it already. Okay, so the reason I wanted to go over here, because several other neighborhood councils have weighed in. Reseda, for instance, supports it. That would make it easier for local neighborhoods to use existing structures, existing faith community buildings and other blah, blah, blah. So this is why they support it. Okay. On the other hand, we have who is this?
No, I understand. I think, I see that what these are.
This one makes it easier. There's another one though. Did I not get it? The Del Rey requests the city council when drafting and considering the council file, take into account the below requests. Consideration of automatically including LAMC 41.18 projections of any location providing a homeless shelter. It's taking into all these considerations. For public comment, and includes the opportunity for public comment. Okay, there's another one. I think I might have missed it because I don't see it. Oh, Chatsworth is opposed. There are existing faster options available that have not been considered or utilized, such as considering the 26 owned vacant lots and parking lots identified in the city controller's report. Chatsworth will soon have an overconcentration of 3 by right homeless housing facilities, all within close proximity to each other in our small commercial area. So this one looks at the adverse. Also, the one that I'm missing is West Side, which was similar to this, is that there's already options that they haven't looked at. And this is just spreading it into neighborhoods. So I wanted to make sure that we saw those different viewpoints.
So thank you. That's very helpful. And Chatsworth, like us, is along the foothills. So it can be a significant impact. That's why I say this needs more involvement from the community way also.
So my suggestion is that we adopt Chatsworth's language.
Good.
Okay, I'll second that.
All right.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm watching this happen because I spend a lot of time now on the west side, where it's just completely like Venice is just inundated with these shelters, and the shelters only provide a roof for them to sleep. The rest of the time they are out on the streets. They're not in job training. They're not in rehab of any kind. They're out on the streets, and what they're trying to do is open it up for more areas to be more inundated. And the fact is, it's not fixing the problem. It is absolutely not fixing the problem, because all they're doing is putting a roof over their heads, but they are not providing the services that they need. And we would be better off if we focused on the services first.
I agree. because if
Okay, all right.
simply-
So can we?
Can we add that?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll take this wording, but add in
that the focus needs to move from housing first to services first, so that we can actually get them into housing. Let me explain something, and I can do this at the board meeting. So all these groups of people, notice the words temporary homeless shelters.
right.
Let me explain what that means to people. So a temporary a temporary homeless shelter means that they are given 12 weeks under one roof. And so what happens is every 12 weeks, they're dumped back on the streets for another provider to try to find them and pick them up. And the candidate I'm helping believes that if they should never, it should be permanent, not just passing them off constantly. How can they possibly go into a drug training or get any service if every 12 weeks they're being dumped on the streets again, where they can't be found and don't have transportation? She believes that if we are going to continue, cannot stop that timeline for some reason, and that's actually the first thing that needs to be fixed, that if a provider can't provide for them anymore, they should hand them to another provider. They should go straight from one facility to another and not back out onto the streets. The fact is, there is no continuity of care. There is nothing being done to actually help the person. better their life. There is nothing being done to do that. And so all we're doing is play whack-a-mole,
Right.
and we are not providing the services provided. So these homeless shelters from what? In my opinion, they're already on the streets. They should provide them campsites that are more contained in certain areas where that's where they sleep in little, like the little mini housing that they've been doing. Let them have their fire pit, let them have that outdoor life.
I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna have to be.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to be leaving soon, so is it possible we could,
Yeah, let's
take
just move
comments?
this
I'm
one
sorry.
forward to the board in opposition.
Okay, and we'll include this, we'll use the Chatsworth language
Yes,
with the addition of the focus on services and the timeline continuity of that service.
Right.
okay, I don't see, audience member anymore. So,
Okay.
I'll call for the vote, I guess. You're gonna call for the vote, is that
Yes,
right?
we'll call for the vote.
Lydia, yes.
Cindy, yes.
Lala, yes.
Okay, all right. I'm so sorry to nudge you along here.
Okay, well, that's fine. We don't need to stay here any longer than we have to. All right. Okay. So that leads us to the end of that. Now we have two tabled, number 5 and 8. Do we want to try to take those up now or not?
No,
No,
I say no.
Okay, we'll roll those two over. Okay, any
I
other?
don't think, so to be honest with you, I don't think we're gonna get through all these. So I would just remove them. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay,
What do you think, Cindy?
Yes,
all right. Sounds good. Any other?
Unless somebody asks for them to be re-agendized.
Okay.
exactly.
Other new business? Any old business? Updates on follow up on prior committee recommendations or actions? Nope. And we have no public here, so we do not need general public comment.
I'd just like to make a couple announcements. Yesterday was hearing for the property where Ralph's is located, and the zoning administrator did accept the applicant owner's recommendation. So we should start to see a reawakening of that site.
Oh, that's good.
Look forward to that. So that is a huge community improvement accomplishment, and the ongoing engagement with the community throughout the process has been phenomenal. There are videos that show folks what the process has been, and just wanted to let you know, after a number of years and a pandemic, that things are moving ahead here.
Okay,
And then the other is that the American Legion will have their Memorial Day presentation at the monument in Sunland Park on Monday at 11 o'clock. Thank you.
thank you. On that one, what was exactly the application that they got for the Ralph's property?
What they did is they got a parking approval for parking for the businesses. And what basically, this is my nutshell version. There's many uses at that center overall, and some are open throughout the day, some are open in the evenings. For every business that goes in there to go back and forth with the city with regards to their approvals, whether it be the parking and the use and everything. The application that was just approved yesterday overcomes that. So now they can just go into the city put forward what their plans are, and the parking is already designated and known throughout. So there's over 600, I want to say 631 parking spaces, but I may not have that number exactly right. But anyway, it's a shared parking arrangement for the overall site. But there's a
Alright.
lot of other approvals that took place prior to this one, such as the increased signage, enlarged signage and the monument signs on both the Fenwick side and the Sunland Boulevard sign. So this has been a lot of approvals to go through for these owners. But I think that this is at the end of it now, and now you can start to see tenants. Up to now, it's been difficult for them to get tenants because of these hurdles. So this will make it better for them.
Good. I really like that. I'm glad that it's finally moving forward.
The
Good.
council did support them.
Okay. And so is there anything else before we end? Okay, it is 10:49. Thank you, ladies, for being very straightforward and getting this done rapidly. And this meeting is adjourned at 10:49 a.m. Thank you.
Okay, bye. See you guys
Bye.
later.
Okay.